Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition. And today we're going to talk about becoming our own superheroes. The superhero's journey and how it relates to the journey of consciousness and the similarities of your journey compared to a superhero's journey, or what we have been shown as a superhero's journey. So you will find there's a lot of things that are familiar when you watch any superhero origin story that relate to consciousness, because we do get our own superpowers. We get our own amazing things that we can do. You know, all of a sudden we're more human. Our human in the beginning, we call it, we're more telepathic. We're more we have more precognition. We can see different things before they happen. You know what's going to happen before it happens. You start to be able to see what's going to happen for other people, even though there is a point where we don't really share that stuff. You just can see the timelines people are on, how different things are going to play out. You're able to affect your reality. It's like you have your own, like in the Marvel universe, it was like a reality stone. You have your own reality stone, and you learn how you put realities together, and you see how other people put realities together, and you see how much you can create when your vibration shifts and what weighs your powers down, what your kryptonites are in a sense. I'm all over the genre of superheroes, as you can see, but I am actually very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Educated, I guess, in the superhero genre, because I do enjoy the superhero genre to an extent. There are certain things that drain your powers, and you don't feel like you are as connected. You can't, you get taken off the grid sometimes when you're upgrading your power set. But that's just our superpower part, and that's why people start coming to you, because they do feel like you know more than they do. You can see more than they do. And it's really not so much that's not true. You can see more than they can, but it doesn't mean they don't have the capability ever to do it. They just don't have the access yet to do it. So you feel like you are kind of in everyone's reality as sort of a higher aspect of them. You have a lot of power. The way they would see you have a lot of power, and you have a lot of power, a lot of that energetic power of what you can do. But it's not a better than them power. It's just you have achieved a different level of consciousness. You can see more. You can understand how everything is going to unfold. You don't really get surprised by a lot of stuff. And not many stuff kind of knocks you off your game in any way, in a sense, after a while. Once you kind of learn to really embrace your power and what you can do. But there's also a part of every superhero's journey where they learn the lesson, and it's kind of a backwards lesson on how it kind of relates to us. That, if I'm with people, the superhero's journey is, if I'm with people, those people are in danger, so I have to kind of pull away and do this alone. And for us, that's kind of true too, but not so much because we put people in danger. But in a way, I guess we do, because we put them in danger in a sense of not completing their realities, because we want to try to save them from them. We want to try to save them from the big mistake. We want to try to save them from the reality collapse that we can see coming. And we want to interfere in stuff that's not our business to interfere in. So we pull away from a lot of people. We do kind of live a very solitary life for a while until we really master, in a sense, our power set and what our responsibility is and what our responsibility isn't. So we kind of have a harder time. Also, this is going to be everything in the kitchen sink video, I can tell. We have a harder time living in their world, living in that human world. We really can't live in that human world anymore because we're really not human anymore. We're like a hybrid of a human and our galactic aspects and our higher soul aspects. I heard something on the radio the other day saying, I really believe aliens are real and we're not the only people in the universe. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, girl, you're not the only people on the planet. I mean, the aliens are already here. We have those aspects in all of us, whether you've embodied it or not. That's a different part of where you are in your process, but we're already here. All this stuff is already here. People just see that stuff outside of them because they haven't embodied the aspect. Just like you see ghosts because you haven't embodied those aspects of yourself or transcended those aspects of yourself. It's just how humans view these things. But you really can't live in the human world because you don't belong there anymore. So when you watch all these superhero movies, you start to really see the correlation between what happens when you are different. And you do start pulling away from a lot of that stuff because you don't belong there anymore. You can't live in that world because you're not like them anymore. You have an aspect of them, but you're not like them. So you can't live in that world. And you being in that world, really immersed in that world, trying to live with people that live from their human aspect constantly, you end up being a hindrance to them because you're not helping them in a sense. It gets to a point where you've done what you knew you could do for them, whatever that was for you, whether it was just to open them up to consciousness, whether it was just to open them up to kindness, whatever it was, and you get to a point where there's nothing else I can do. I've done everything I can do. And they're still going to head down the same road because they're not ready to shift unless they have the traumatic thing. Like all of us, in a sense, we all had to have that thing to shake us out of the human realities, to make us look for our superpowers, make us remember we had our superpowers, and we didn't have to live in those realities anymore. Now, there will come a time when you'll kind of team up with other people who have sort of embraced those types of abilities and found those abilities within themselves, but that is not early on because you have to learn to do it yourself. You can't bring all that into any type of team reality unless you can hold your own in that team. If you can't, then it's a big power imbalance, and then you're right back into the imbalance of the human realities. So really look at where you are embracing your power, where you're shying away from your power because you don't want to really step into those roles, where you're trying to save other people and they're kind of allowing you to do it in a sense. In a way they are, in a way they're not. In a way, if they're going to keep going down that road, and they might just be using you as a crutch to not really stepping into what they need to do. There's sometimes you'll get that, or they're so into their human realities that you can see the train coming and it's like in slow motion for you, but when it hits them, it'll feel like they never saw it coming. But you could see it coming 5 years ago. You knew where it was going, but it didn't matter. So you have to kind of pull away and out of all those realities. So look at your superpower self. Look at where you are in the superpower journey. Are you in the phase of discovering your power? Are you in the phase of pulling out of the human realities because you really don't belong there anymore? Are you in the phase of teaming up with other superpowered people? Look where your consciousness journey is and keep practicing the art of intuition.